Hi there, welcome to Prime Sport, where Zach was about. Now, the women's AFCON is almost upon us, and the parents for the group stage is set to be unveiled. That's according to CAF, who have now announced that the draw will be held sometime next week. Now, the draw for this year's edition of the tournament, according to CAF, is scheduled for Thursday, the 15th of January. It's going to happen in Morocco, Rabat, as 16 teams gear towards the Continental Football Festival. The Ghana's Black Queens are among the 16 teams that will be competing for the top prize, as well as a spot at next year's Women's World Cup to be staged in Brazil. The draw will also mark a historic achievement in the history of the competition, as it will be the first edition to feature 16 teams since its inception. Now, our man when it comes to women's football and the Black Queens is Lawrence Beidou, and he joins me via Zoom for some more on this latest development. Lawrence, thank you very much for joining us. I mean, quickly tell us all about the women's AFCON that's set to happen this year. 16 teams are in there, and the draw is going to happen next Thursday. Tell us how significant this AFCON really is for the Black Queens.
I mean, good evening, Zach. This tournament will be of very huge importance to the Black Queens as far as their career, their tournament involvement is concerned, because aside it's been the continental gathering once again, as we saw in the delayed edition 2024, which was played last year. This one will serve as qualifiers for the 2027 World Cup to be played in Brazil. So it carries a huge importance for Kim Lasbjørk and the side. And if I say huge importance, what do I mean? The Black Queens have not been at the World Cup, at the Women's World Cup, since 2007. So there is that need for them to be there. I mean, next year will mark 20 years since they last played at the World Cup. So they want to return. Is something that they are looking forward to. If we were going by last year's performance, they probably would have secured a place to play in Brazil. But then this one will be another opportunity for them to have a go or to have a shot at qualifying for the Women's World Cup once again.
So what's the formula here? What's the method here? How far do they need to go in the tournament to secure a place in the World Cup?
Yes, so they need to go as far as the last four stages that they got to in the last edition in Morocco. Thankfully for them, this one will also be staged in Morocco. So in terms of weather acclimatization, they are up there. And another thing that will be working for Ghana has to be the fact that due to their ranking, their FIFA ranking, which they ended third last month or last year, they will now be in pot 4, which will also mean that they will avoid the likes of Nigeria, avoid the likes of Morocco, and then also South Africa. So it could be good omen for the Black Queens as far as heading into the tournament is concerned. Because when you avoid some of these big guns, you probably are looking forward to reaching the knockout phase of the tournament with much ease, and then navigating your way through making the last four and essentially booking the slots at the World Cup. So it's quite important for the Black Queens. I'm glad that it has come out. If we will have to remind you is that tournament is scheduled to be played between 17th March and then April 3rd, 2026. So
the tournament is happening in March, the 17th of March.
Yes, 17th March. Starts on 17th March with the final set for April 3rd. So there's not too much time for camping, because some of these girls are with their respective clubs. They are playing their club football, trying to be fit and then secure call up to the national team. So there's not too much time. You are banking on your hopes on the fact that they've gathered in the last few months, a few adapts to the national team, and then they go to Morocco once again, charging for that World Cup slot.
Very significant. And just before I let you go, to emphasize, at the WAFCON, they need to make it to the semi-finals, right?
Yes, they need to make it to the
semi-finals. To qualify for the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And the last time the Black Queens were at the World Cup was in 2007. And they are
2007.
And they are looking to make it for the World Cup that will be hosted next year. And that will be 20 years since they were last in the World Cup.
Yes, yes.
Well, we hope all the best for the Black Queens in the draw come next Thursday. We'll be following it closely and we'll bring you more updates. Lawrence, thank you very much. Over there, that's my colleague Lawrence Beidou. And the Black Queens, of course, have got a very big assignment. So now attention to the AFCON. And at the AFCON, the round of 16 is over now, and Nigeria is one of the teams that have made it to the quarterfinals. their head coach, Eric Shelley, has been responding to concerns about some disruption in the team's camp, particularly following the incident involving forward Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman.
There's no distraction. We try to stay focused on our training session, on our game project. I'm very happy about this AFCON. So you talk about the Super Eagles, and like I said, I'm in phase. I don't see anything in the social media or in the world. I saw this morning that something happened between the USA and Venezuela. But the reality, I watch nothing. I just focus about this AFCON, my job, and my player. So this is the question about my management and what happened in the pitch. Will stay in the group. I don't need to tell you what happened or what will happen. So my management, I keep that for me, and everything that happened in the life of the group will stay in the life of the group. So we will see after, and then we will talk.
Well, that's the head coach of Nigeria national team, and he, of course, emphasizing that all that happened and all that they will discuss relative to the incident involving Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman will not be made public, but he will make some effort to try and resolve the issue, particularly as I look forward to the quarterfinal fixture against Algeria. Now, let's touch base with John Boafo. He is a sports analyst based in Ivory Coast. And of course, Ivory Coast themselves, the reigning champions, have advanced to the quarterfinals after defeating Burkina Faso in thrilling fashion. Now, Joy Sports editor Tahirou Fentio is also in Morocco as we speak, and he is going to join us. And as we look closely at the chances of all the teams that have made it to the quarterfinals. Let me start with John now, who is joining us from Ivory Coast. John, good to have you. Really good to have you. I mean, you are based in Ivory Coast. Just give us a sense of the atmosphere in Ivory Coast relative to the AFCON, because here in Ghana, with the absence of the Black Stars, the feeling is a bit, you know, there's a bit of apathy towards the AFCON. How is the atmosphere like in Ivory Coast with the team flying so high in the tournament?
Yeah, it's really funny because I think contrasted to Ghana, over here, people are really excited about the AFCON, and they're excited about the possibility for this Ivorian team to retain the title. You know, they won last time when they hosted it here in Côte d'Ivoire, but they're looking forward to potentially keeping and retaining the title. And people got even more excited yesterday after the performance because, you know, I wouldn't say that they had a shaky start to this AFCON, but they hadn't been performing at the highest levels. If you remember, it was only in the third match after going down 2-0 against Gabon that they came back and showed some kind of more of the attacking prowess that we know that they have within the team. So yesterday, you know, they scored another 3 goals, and it was really exciting. And people throughout the day have been really excited. And, you know, it just brings so much joy to the Ivorian people when the national team ends up scoring and playing well against a rival, especially that there's a huge Burkinabe contingent that lives here, especially in Abidjan. So it's been good so far.
Well, it's been good so far, but one of the standout players has been Ahmad. He's been phenomenal in this tournament. He is among the top scorers in the tournament. He is, of course, in the running to even picking the most valuable player of the tournament. I mean, just help us appreciate exactly what the coach has done with him in this tournament, for which we've seen him excel, because you look at his performance with Manchester United and contrast that with what he's currently doing at the AFCON, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It has been incredible. And I think it's because the coach has really given him confidence to be kind of a leader within the squad. Unfortunately, the likes of Sebastian Haller got injured, you know, quite late. So he's one of those players that the team knows that they're able to rely on him, because if you saw the match yesterday from the beginning, he was the one who was running at defenders, who ended up causing that yellow card foul from Nagalo. And he was just there everywhere until he scored that that goal, the first goal in the 20th minute. And, you know, he was just performing at a level that we haven't seen him play at for such a long time. But it's really exciting, and it's good to see how he's been performing at the highest level. And it's also nice to see that he's also been rewarded with the Man of the Match award 3 times within this this AFCON so far. So I think that if Ivory Coast want to go far, they'll need to rely on him. They'll need to rely also on top-notch performances from the likes of Yan Diomande and other key players of this Ivorian national team.
I mean, let's talk about their quarterfinal fixture now. It's a big one. It's a big one. I mean, from where you sit, what are their chances in that game? You confident they can sail through?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, in the last game against Benin, Egypt did end up winning 3-1. But if you watch the game, you saw that they really struggled. And the 3-1 scoreline really flattered the performance. And I think that they've been struggling. And, you know, call me maybe a regionalist or something, but I'm rooting for an all-West African semifinal. So I'll be pushing for Cote d'Ivoire, I'll be pushing for all the other West African representatives who are still in the AFCON, so we can get a all West African semifinal.
Awesome. Well, John, just stay with us. We'll come back to you briefly. Fent has also joined us now. He's landed in Morocco. And I've got him. Fent, good to have you. I mean, just give us a sense of what the atmosphere is like in Morocco. We are now through to the quarterfinals. And of course, the host nation, Morocco itself, are in the quarterfinals. What can you share with us? How is the atmosphere in Morocco like?
Thank you very much, Zach. I can tell you that it's really cold. It's kind of cold. Temperatures are hovering around 12 degrees this evening, expected to drop even further. But we've been lucky because today hasn't been very rainy. For anyone that has been watching the tournament, I think a distinct feature of it has been the torrential rains that we've witnessed. And when we got in, we were talking to some locals who had said that for 6 years, it hadn't rained this much in Morocco. And it just happened to be raining the year that they happened to be hosting the Africa Cup of Nations in December. So it's a very interesting scenario. I think we made it to the stadium as well. Today is obviously an off day, as well as tomorrow, no football. But you can see the sense of all football all around. Many people sporting Moroccan jerseys. Everywhere you go, from restaurants to every shop, you have many people showing their colors and representing Moroccan flags everywhere, and you can just feel the AFCON vibe in the city. The team itself, there is a bit of apprehension because I've spoken to a couple of people. Every time we've interacted with locals, you ask them, how are you feeling about the Cameroon game? Not a lot of them seem to be excited that they're playing Cameroon. And for good reason, Razak, because Cameroon have the distinct history of knocking out the most host nations. And the last time Morocco hosted this tournament in 1988, they faced Cameroon in the semi-finals. And guess what? Cameroon knocked them out. Ghana themselves know exactly how that feels like to play Cameroon as a host nation. So it's not exact, and it's not exactly helped that Morocco haven't been very convincing in their performances. They have obviously been efficient. They've made it through to the quarterfinals, but they've not had a singular, distinct, exemplary statement performance throughout this competition. And the last game they played against Tanzania, you could see that Brahim Diaz goes settling that affair. But the performances haven't been exactly superlative, but they've got the job done. And I think that now that they've welcomed back the captain, Ashraf Hakimi as well, he only played his first game of the tournament in the last game. It seems like they still have an extra gear to go. And you just have a feeling that this team is not yet at their very best. When you look at Cameroon, on the other hand, I have no clue the kind of football they've been playing in this tournament. I don't know how they got here, but they are there. And that is typically what Cameroon always does. They are the one team that knows exactly how to play the AFCON. They've scored 6 goals so far in the 4 games that they've played. And only one player scored more than one. 5 players have scored their 6 goals at this competition, and their best player, Brian Mbeumo, has yet to find the back of the net. So they're also a team that you just have a feeling also have an extra gear to go, because when Mbeumo starts scoring, then you can expect that they would be much better than they are. And they've averaged the lowest possession out of all the 8 teams left in the competition. So the people have shown that they are their team very comfortable and very okay with sitting back and trying to counter. And they come up against a team that has averaged the most possession in this competition with around 75. That's Morocco. So it's going to be very contrasting styles when these two teams meet on Friday. Either way, we expect a very packed, all 68,000 seats occupied at the Prince Abdullah Mole Stadium in Rabat. And whatever happens on that day, whether Cameroon wins or whether Morocco wins, you can expect the reactions would be absolutely buzzing, because if Cameroon do win, we can expect a lot of tears in the city.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm going to Morocco do win, Razak, it would be the first time they've made the semi-finals since 2004. That is a long time ago for a team that made it all the way to the World Cup semi-finals to not make an AFCON semi-final in that longer period. It's a massive piece of information, and hopefully I think they would want to change that on Friday.
All right, great. I'm going to pick your thoughts on the Algeria-Nigeria game, but John, I want to come back to you on Senegal and Mali. That's an interesting quarterfinal fixture we've got. Senegal have been outstanding in this tournament, but Mali yet to win a game in 90 minutes in this tournament. But they are there in the quarterfinals, and Senegal will be looking at them and thinking, how can we defeat these boys? Because, I mean, they are yet to win, but they are here. They just know how to grind the result regardless of the opposition. You can't even guess the kind of football they are playing, but they are there. And against Senegal, understandably, it's going to be a difficult test. I mean, give me your thoughts on this. Do you think Senegal can deal with this challenge in Mali? Because Senegal have got their eyes on the AFCON. Mane wants to win it before he finally bows out of the national team.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that Senegal needs to win this because, like you mentioned, Mali has not won a match so far, and they haven't been playing too well. And if we're honest, in the last game that they played against Tunisia, they were really lucky to win this game because they were down by a red card, and that last-minute penalty that they had for a silly foul at the end of the day really helped them to be able to grind out that result. So I'd be 100% rooting for Mane and rooting for this Senegalese team because they have so much talent and they have so much quality, and they'll also have the added quality of having their captain back, Koulibaly, in defense. So that's going to help to get back that defensive stability that they lacked in their last match. But what's really interesting for the Senegalese team is the quality that they also have in the bench, because you look at the likes of Ibrahim Mbaye, who's such a young player, but he also starts for PSG, came on and made such a huge difference. So I think that with those kinds of people who are able to come off the bench, I think that eventually they'll be able to find a way to grind it out and get a result against Mali, who have been, like you said earlier, quite poor since the beginning of this AFCON. So
to be clear, Senegal versus Mali, you're tipping Senegal to go to the semi-finals. And of course,
110%.
And inevitably, Ivory Coast and Egypt, you're tipping Ivory Coast, isn't it?
Yes. Ivory Coast as well. I think that this Ivorian team has so much quality, and they also have that added experience of being able to see that even if they're down, they can come back. You saw that in the Gabon game, and you saw them also in the last AFCON. So I think that this Ivorian team has so much quality, and yes, they're going to be playing against a really good team of Egypt, but I think that they should be able to win that game and go to the next round of this AFCON.
Interesting. Friend, let me come to you on the Nigeria-Algeria game. I feel Nigeria have been phenomenal in this performance, perfect performance. Group stage, won all 3 games, 9 points in the round of 16 against Mozambique, 4-0. Ademola Lookman is firing the goals, likewise Victor Osimhen. But then, these two individuals, it does appear that if care is not taken, their egos might be the undoing of the Nigerian national team in this AFCON. I mean, tell me, what have you been picking up relative to this very incident? From what you're hearing from your colleagues, has this been resolved? And if not, do you seriously think it might affect them?
Well, I think we saw a video of Osimhen, obviously being very jovial, playing around the team camp, and Lookman also saying that, they buried the hatchet, or all of the issues from the game earlier in the week has all been buried. But then, just when you feel like one problem is being solved, another is coming up, and now we're being told that they have issues with bonuses, and earlier there were reports that they were boycotting training. I think it was later reported that they trained this evening, but then we're still insisting that they needed all of those bonus issues settled before the game on Saturday. So, Nigeria being Nigeria, that tendency to self-destruct is always there. And I find it really strange because even that game, it just made no sense. The way Osimhen went absolutely ballistic. Like, you scored 2 goals, a pass doesn't come to you. Even if, look, I don't have a problem with players arguing on the pitch. It means that they're very competitive. But the fact that he went on to stop playing and asked to be substituted, stormed into the dressing room in a game where you won 4-0, it just made no sense that because they didn't pass one ball to you, that should cause all the outrage that he did. But I'm happy that at least those issues are resolved. And I think I really like the maturity with which certain players like Lookman handled it in the press conference, the post-match press conference, saying that it's part of football and all of that. So those issues seem to be behind them. Whether the bonus issues will also be resolved before that game on Saturday remains to be seen. But as you rightly mentioned, Nigeria they have been performing with some swagger, for want of a better expression. It's unbelievable. Lookman, 7 goal contributions in this tournament. So he's been, in my opinion, the best player at this AFCON. He's put no foot wrong. He's been phenomenal. And Osimhen himself, he scored 3 goals now in this competition. And Lookman has scored 3 goals as well between the two of them. It's like a 2-month distraction job, basically, that Nigeria have put these two players.
What are their chances against Algeria? Briefly, then we can go.
Well, the bad news for them is Algeria, just like Nigeria, have been superb. They were the only 2 teams to actually go through the group stages with 9 points out of 9. And we also saw their performance, obviously, against DR Congo. I thought anyone that came up against DR Congo, it didn't matter who, you were always going to find it difficult. Because remember, DR Congo were the team that knocked out Nigeria in the World Cup playoff. So there are no pushovers. So we expected that to be a difficult game. And Algeria found that extra gear in extra time. And many people just remember the 1 goal. But moments before that winning goal, the goalkeeper of DR Congo had to make 2 wonderful saves, so Algeria always looked like they were going to win that game, and they found that extra gear to win it.
So who's going to win? Who do you think is going to win?
I think that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I want Nigeria to win, just simply because I feel like these North African teams, I expected so much from Tunisia because of the way they started, but look at what Nigeria did to them, right?
Yeah.
They completely bullied them and destroyed them. I think that physicality, that extra edge, just goes in favor of Nigeria. So if they bury all their off-field issues, I can see them going through.
All right, Fen, thank you very much.
By the way,
the
last time the two teams,
we've got to go.
Last time the 2 teams met.
Yeah, we've got to go, friends. We've got to go. We'll definitely get in touch again and hear more from you. John, thank you very much for your time. Friend, thanks for your time. And also to you for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow.